Hello world, today we have a 2012 Ford Focus and we are going to replace the rear pads and rotors. Now you'll see that later on in the video we don't have a new retaining spring for the caliper, so we're gonna reuse that while we go get a new one. So you're gonna go start off and take off the lug nuts, remove the wheel. You'll notice that on this car there's quite a bit of rust, but we managed to get through it. I'm gonna start off in the rear, remove these little dust covers, and it's going to be a hex bit. Unfortunately, the size, I didn't have it with me, so I improvised and I used a Torx bit, and it does work. Not the ideal use, but if you're in a pinch it will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out, and you want to make sure take these out all the way, clean them up, and grease them up again, because it will allow your caliper to move freely. Now I'm going to try to get this retaining spring off, but the rust kind of has it on there really well, so that becomes a little bit difficult, at least without bending it. If I had a new one, then I would just bend it all the way and get it out. That was a little bit of a struggle, but I managed to get it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide this off. It really doesn't want to come off, but it's going to have to. And that just fell. Here's the rear one. So under your normal circumstance, you're going to want to hang that up with a bungee cord or something, but I'm going to remove the rear caliper bracket. And yeah, as I said, this is a pretty good amount of rust on these things. Power tools are unavailable at this moment, so I have to do everything by hand. You know, I never realized how much longer it takes. If I had my electric ratchet, then this would be so much faster. But right now, it's all manual. Manual mode, man. Manual. If you do have the chance, try to clean off the caliper bracket, at least where the brake pads sit. And here, there's no hole that I can screw to try to press the rotor out, so we just gave it a little bit of a tap and it came off. If you have the available tool, you know, an electric drill with a wire wheel, I would try to clean that hub off. If you don't, then just try to see what you can do to clean that surface. We're not doing the most in this situation, but it's going to work. Just not too content, but I'll keep that to myself. I did go ahead and put some anti-seize right where the hub is at. right where the hub is at, where the rotor sits. And here, I didn't worry too much about the caliper hanging, only because it's an aluminum caliper, so there's hardly any weight, and it's also being held by the parking brake cable, which is pretty stiff, surprisingly. So it's hardly any weight. It's not going to put any pressure on that brake line. However, if you do have, you know, a cast iron caliper, then definitely don't do that. Yeah, I was pretty surprised, but of all the things that Ford does, they decided to go with an aluminum caliper. Alright, so we have the new rotor on. I'm gonna tighten up these caliper bolts, compress the caliper piston. Wait, did I say caliper bolts? I meant caliper bracket bolts. Put those brake pads in right there. And if you saw early on when I removed them, or if you paid attention, you'll notice that that little spring on the brake pad is on the rear one, just so you're aware. And I'm sorry I didn't show me compressing the caliper piston. Now, when you install the caliper, I always try to do it by hand, at least the first few threads, only because if you start off with a hand tool or power tool, then you have a possibility of cross threading, and that's just going to make things a lot worse. So just start off by hand and then continue with whatever tool you're using. They don't go on crazy tight, but do make sure they're secure. Ta-da! Now we make sure they're tight, and we're going to put the dust covers back on. Finish off with the retaining spring. Granted, in an ideal situation, you'd be putting a brand new one, but we don't have that at the moment, so we're going to get that and then put it on. And that's pretty much it. Do the same thing for the other side, and you're set. Alrighty.